Well, a nervous and rattled Pakistan has upped the ante against India, with their Defence Minister Khawaja Asif openly threatening India with a nuclear war. In an interview to a Pakistani channel, the Defence Minister of Pakistan says, and we quote, special bombs which will be used against India so that their coming generations will be affected, adding that Pakistan can easily devastate India. Now, this is perhaps one of the most blatant, most brazen nuclear threat that Pakistan has issued against India. Khawaja Asif also blames India for an all-terror attack and reiterated his country's stand that the Uri attack was stage-managed by India to malign the image of Pakistan, especially orchestrating it to divert the world's attention from Kashmir. This is something that the Pakistan has been claiming.
Khawaja Asif is Pakistan's defense minister, and an extremely irresponsible statement coming from Pakistan's defense minister who's indulging in nuclear saber rattling. Now, I've been speaking to my sources in government of India, and they are not alarmed by his rants. Anyways, nukes in Pakistan are in the control of Pakistan army, and they decide. Now, India is doing nothing. Pakistan is resorting to nuclear saber rattling and warmongering. India is only talking about isolating Pakistan diplomatically, taking some steps economically to tell Pakistan that terror and economics, terror and cooperation cannot happen simultaneously. Now, Pakistan doesn't want to address the issue of terror, and that is why it's resorting to warmongering in its own country, whether it's using their fighter planes, F-16s over Islamabad, or sealing off airspace in northern areas, or hyping up the situation in their own country. The main issue, as Prime Minister Narendra Modi addressing the people of Pakistan directly from Kozhikode said, that terror needs to be addressed. The people of Pakistan need to put pressure on the government of Pakistan to stop terror. Nuclear saber rattling will be dismissed with the contempt it deserves.
It's not just the defense minister, Gaurav, stay with me. The former president of Pakistan and really the brain behind the Kargil war, General Pervez Musharraf, has also spoken about the nuclear threats issued by Pakistan to India. Here's what he had to say in this exclusive conversation with India today.
The water treaty is final, and there is no need of reviewing it at all. And you cannot do that unilaterally. You must not do that. And secondly, if you try to stop waters of Pakistan, you are escalating the conflict to another level, to a very, very serious level. You are trying to stop our waters. You are trying to drive us thirsty. This is what you want. You want to parch our lands. You think Pakistan will sit idle? You think this 200 million people, a nuclear power, will sit idle? You are asking for retaliation. You are escalating the conflict beyond repair. Don't do that. Never do that.
And there are no takers, to Pakistan's nuclear threat to India. In fact, the US Defense Secretary Ashton Carter has himself said that Pakistan's history of nuclear weapons is entangled in tensions. He has further, in fact, in that statement, praised India for showing responsible behavior with its nuclear technology, saying that even though Pakistan is not directly a threat to America, stability must be ensured by Islamabad. And let's just go straight to my first guest, retired Major General P.K. Sehgal. He's a defense expert. Sir, thank you so much for joining us. What do you make of the defense minister's statement threatening to nuke India? I mean, do you think that there is any seriousness to this? Or is it the usual bluff that he's calling, the usual saber rattling that we have heard from Pakistan many times before?
It's absolute bluff, bluster, saber rattling. There is no threat whatsoever that can be posed by this gentleman to India. They very clearly know that nuclear weapon is not a weapon of war. It is a weapon of deterrence. India is posing no threat whatsoever to Pakistan. We don't want to invade Pakistan. We don't want to capture any territory of Pakistan. We don't want to break up Pakistan. So what is he talking about? I am very, very certain that even if he were to go insane, and so were Musharraf to go insane, they would realize that they do not have the liberty to put on stake lives of generations to come, because Pakistan will simply cease to exist if a thing like this is ever attempted by Pakistan. There is absolutely a bluff of the ultimate variety, and we need not be worried.
Absolutely. And sir, the world is uniting against terror emanating from Pakistan. Do you think that this is their way, their defense mechanisms to shield themselves from the kind of embarrassment and humiliation that they have been facing from all countries across the globe?
Absolutely and totally. They rattle beyond belief. They continue to harm India, push in fake currency, drug addict our youth, continue to do cross-border violations, cross-border terrorism time and again, time and again, time again. We've shown strategic restraint for 30 years. Now the Prime Minister has made it loud and clear that thus far and no further, we will not forget or forgive Uri. And we will definitely do something at the place and the time of our own choosing. Whether it's a military action, whether it's a diplomatic action, whether it's a political action, whether it is international isolation or something overt and covert, is something that we haven't discussed. This has put Pakistan on so much of worry. They've shaken beyond belief. They've cancelled leave. They've mobilized their troops. They've even forbidden flying of civil aircraft in northern areas. So you can see that consternation that they are in.
Absolutely.
They are only absolutely and totally worried. They know India is a very, very powerful nation, and there is no way that they can counter
and you know,
India
sir,
conventionally
interestingly, that endorsement comes from the US Defense Secretary Ashton Carter, who has praised India for showing responsibility when it comes to nuclear technology. He hasn't, have similar words of praise and appreciation for Pakistan when it comes to handling nuclear weapons or nuclear technology.
I am very certain that what Ashton Carter has said, even the all-weather friend of Pakistan, China, would agree with everybody that Pakistan behaves in a most immature manner. This is not the first time that Khawaja ji is saying this. Prior to this, several ministers of Pakistan, including the Prime Minister of Pakistan, the erstwhile President of Pakistan, Musharraf, have been saying that we've got these weapons not for Shab-e-Barat. They are meant to be used. Yes, they are meant to be used if there is any threat whatsoever to Pakistan's stability or to Pakistan's survival. India is not posing any threat whatsoever, either today, tomorrow or in the future, to Pakistan's survival. Pakistan itself is beginning to threaten its own survival because of what it's doing against its own people in Balochistan and Sindh and Pakistan occupied Kashmir.
Absolutely.
Instead of taking care of illiteracy, hunger, unemployment,
right,
they are saber rattling and wasting all time and money and billions of dollars on targeting India time and again.
Absolutely. Pakistan once again resorting to these empty threats. But sir, it's not just the defense minister. I mean, these kind of statements have been made previously. Sartaj Aziz once saying that India should not take Pakistan for granted because we have nuclear weapons. I mean, where do they get all this kind of, this kind of show, this show of bravado from? I mean, how can ministers in the government make such reckless and irresponsible statements?
They've been reckless and irresponsible and immature, not today, but for the last 10 to 15 years. They fully well know that they are on a very weak ground, nationally, internationally, within the SAARC, within the BRICS, within the world environment, within NAM. Even the OIC no longer backs them. The Arab nations no longer back them. The Muslim world does not back them. And even their all-weather friend would feel highly embarrassed to back this sort of an immaturity and nonsense on the part of the Pakistani
Sir,
leaders.
if I may just ask you to stay, I'm joined on the phone line by the leader of the Pakistan Muslim League, Jan Muhammad Khan. Sir, thank you so much for your time on India Today. Your defense minister is threatening to nuke India. What sort of an irresponsible and reckless statement is this? Everybody understands the complex nature between the two neighbors, but instead of talking, is this the statement one is expecting from your minister?
Actually, there is a context, and the context is that recently there has been a warmongering by India. It has raised, the specter of blackmail, not only politically but also economically in terms of water. The threat of reviving Indus water. Pakistan has threshold And the bigger, larger picture is that it's only India that has Pakistan been involved in war 3 times, more than around 30% of its border and territorial dispute is with India. We have a 71 tragedy dismembered by India. Today, Balochistan being destabilized by India. So there is a context. This is why Pakistan will not for granted its national security.
No, but sir, how can officials of your stature take rumor mongering so seriously? No matter what the hostilities are, no matter how serious the tensions are, India has never once gone on record to state that they're going to war or they're going to threaten Pakistan with nuclear weapons. Your defense minister is saying we will destroy India if it dares to impose war on us. Pakistan army is fully prepared to answer any misadventure of India. I mean, don't you think that this really doesn't speak volumes of your own minister? It reflects so poorly on the government.
Well, India's intent and capability is very much anti-Pakistan. Its posturing is there. So we really need to assure, our Pakistani countrymen that any aggression done against Pakistan would be met, with strong response, and that is within the spirit of that assurance. So Pakistan is a nuclear power, and there are thresholds. If any of the threshold, be that special, economic, political, and military, was crossed by India, would be matched with the appropriate response. So that is the spirit and the message that we want to deliver. And remember, this is the only country that is facing a superiority. Conventionally superior country like India, which is the biggest importer of arms, which has reduced its high intensity conflict prospect with China by having $100 billion.
But sir, so America doesn't seem to agree with you. America doesn't seem to agree with you. We have the US Defense Secretary Ashton Carter saying something extremely opposite to what your defense minister has to say. In fact, he has praised India for handling nuclear weapons and technology extremely maturely and with responsibility, and has even criticized Pakistan. Why don't you just listen into that soundbite? I'll just come to you.
Russia and North Korea are just 2 countries, though very different ones, that stand out in this evolving nuclear landscape. And there are others. India, for example, has generally shown responsible behavior with its nuclear technology. China also conducts itself professionally in the nuclear arena, despite growing its arsenal in both quality and quantity. And the last example I'll cite is Pakistan, where nuclear weapons are entangled in a history of tension. And while they're not a threat to the United States directly, we work with Pakistan to ensure stability.
India Today, Simi Pasha is with us, and those words, Simi, is coming in from the United States. It's not from India. The criticism towards Pakistan themselves, Ashton Carter himself saying that Pakistan's history of nuclear weapons is entangled in tensions. And in the same breath, he goes on to praise India and China.
You're absolutely right, Avantika. Not just the United Nations, an indictment for Pakistan also came in from the European Union last week, which threatened Pakistan with sanctions, economic and political ones, if Pakistan doesn't stop sponsoring terrorism. Now we've come to a scenario where countries in the subcontinent are actually uniting against Pakistan. India, Bangladesh, Bhutan and Nepal have said that they don't want to attend the SAARC summit in Pakistan. We also spoke to the Sri Lankan High Commission. A high-profile meeting is underway in the national capital, and we're expecting a statement from them as well by evening. In fact, I spoke to the Bangladeshi High Commissioner, and he said that Bangladesh has been a victim of Pakistani-sponsored terror for a long time. Not just the fact that Pakistan criticized the war trials that were going on in Dhaka, but also the fact that there has been constant interference in internal activities. Also said that that Pakistan has been supplying arms and ammunition to homegrown small terror groups in Bangladesh, actually sponsoring literally or transporting, exporting terror into Bangladesh. Now we've come to a scenario where the Nawaz Sharif government will be forced to respond, cannot afford to keep denying these charges, and will have to act against terror organizations operating on its soil.
Absolutely. And we also have with us from the PMLN, Jan Mohammed Khan. Sir, you just told me a short while back that in defense of your defense minister Khawaja Asif, that he made that statement to reassure the people of Pakistan in the wake of any eventuality. But do you even tell the people of Pakistan what steps is your government taking to, put a stop on those terror havens, to put a stop on all those blasts, explosions and terror activities that have been emanating in your own country as well, where even your own people have lost their lives?
Well, Pakistan has been fighting a terrorism of not only non-state actors but also state actors. Against non-state actors, it has launched Zarb-e-Azm, and it's very successful. The whole world is appreciating it. And against non-state actors, we have seen, the Indian government openly supporting terrorism in Balochistan and promoting separatism. That is what it's trying to mirror 1971 when India dismembered Pakistan by creating a Bangladesh. So Pakistan has also taken care of state act, act of terrorism of India in Balochistan. We have smashed a network run by Gulbashan Yadev and more than 100 his accomplices. So Pakistan is a responsible state. We have a no first strike policy in terms of nuclear. We really want to sort out, things and issues with India bilaterally.
No, and sir, so do we. So do we. It was our Prime Minister who had visited Pakistan. It was our Home Minister and our External Affairs Minister, sir.
We will not, it has to be meaningful dialogue. We simply would not accept any blackmail. Just India is a militarily superior country. We cannot not be put in your satellite like Bangladesh and in Nepal. You cannot run our foreign policy. Pakistan is independent sovereign state. We will never compromise on a national security policy, whether it's dictated by any superpower or regional power, in this case India. We have seen in 1971 what you said about the United States of America,
yes,
that we should listen to. We have always listened to. We have got good relations with the United States of America, but on national security we will never compromise. Did they come to our rescue in 71? No. We will simply not jeopardize our
and
national
neither
security.
will India, sir. When it comes to security, neither will India compromise. Let me just also get in Major General P.K. Sehgal. Sir, I don't know if you had a chance to hear what the leader, Jan Muhammad Khan, had to say, but standard line of defense, Pakistan claiming that it too has been a victim of terror and they are also cracking down on terror, but we haven't really seen much on the ground. I mean, what about those terror havens that have been thriving in Pakistan? We've seen an increase and spurt in cross-border infiltration. What does Pakistan have to say about all of that? They are in a complete state of denial despite all the evidence being submitted to them through umpteen number of dossiers.
I heard him loud and clear in totality. I feel very sorry for him that notwithstanding his maturity and his wisdom, which is so apparent, he is putting across an argument which lacks logic. He has to toe the official line. If he does not toe the official line, he'll be taken to task. And that is his worry. And that is the reason why he's making all statements which are absolutely and totally insane. No nuclear power has ever before threaten another nuclear power with the type of retribution that they're talking of. India poses no threat to Pakistan. I'm saying it again and again and again. If Pakistan got dismembered in 71, it was because of their own foolishness. If today Balochistan is up in arms, it is again because of their own brutalities that they're inflicting on the people of Pakistan. India is doing no terrorism whatsoever in Balochistan or POK or Sindh. We have only extended for the time being moral support, and the moral support itself has rattled them to such an extent that they're beginning to lose their sense of balance. There is no logic in their arguments. There is absolute and total
Right. Jan Muhammad Khan, we extend
a hand from each one of them, irrespective
and this
of who
is how
it is.
you respond by attacking India, by sending militants from across the border. Your response, sir?
This is absolutely rubbish Indian propaganda. You have not provided any judicial evidence for Pathankot, for Mumbai, for Indian Parliament attack, and now for this ODI attack. Simply just because it has happened, India is not a safe country, for its own people. More than 70 plus independent movements are there in India. There is been a terrorism issue there in India. The Kashmir is boiling.
So are you saying that all the phone records, the tape conversations? No, sir. Are you saying that all the tapes, the transcripts,
pretend.
The testimonies, the phone records that has been handed over to Pakistan post 26/11
Pakistan responded by fully
is nothing but a figment of our imagination.
Ma'am, we fully responded to Pathankot incident, and we worked with India, tried to work with India as much as we can, but it was Indian authority that did not allow full access, and the process halted. However, just because you blame Pakistan does not mean that we accept all the accusations. This is normal for India to mount a narrative which is flawed. Now you are, telling lies to your own people that Pakistan is isolated. Make no mistake, ma'am, Pakistan is a very important country. We have good relations with America, with European country, with Russia and the Middle Eastern countries.
All right, sir.
So you should feed facts to your people.
All right, sir. One only wonders then why Afghanistan, Bangladesh, Nepal, Bhutan have all boycotted SAARC. No, all right. I'm running out of time now. Jan Mohammad Khan and retired Major General P.K. Sehgal, thank you both for joining us and sharing your views. We'll have to take a very short break right here. But coming up next is going to be that exclusive interview with the former Pakistan President, General Pervez Musharraf. Stay tuned for that exclusive conversation with India Today.